Sometimes the hardest thing to abandon is not the plan itself. It's the pride we've invested in it. The time already spent. The money already poured in. The reputation already staked. In 1976, the British and French governments launched the Concorde supersonic jet. It was magnificent. It was revolutionary. It flew faster than the speed of sound. But by 1979, everyone knew it would never be profitable. Not the engineers, not the economists, not the governments funding it. Everyone knew, and yet they kept flying it. For 27 more years, billions of pounds, billions of francs, all lost. Tonight, we're going to explore why intelligent people make catastrophic decisions, not because they lack information, but because they're trapped by something much older than logic. If this feels familiar, stay with me. The Concorde story begins in 1962. Britain and France wanted to prove something, not just technological capability, national superiority. The initial estimate, £150 million. The timeline, 5 years. By 1969, the cost had exploded to £1.3 billion. The timeline had doubled. Airlines started backing out. The economics didn't work. Fuel costs were too high. Only the ultra-wealthy could afford tickets. By 1973, internal reports were brutally clear. Concorde will never recover its development costs. But the governments had already invested over £2 billion. The project had become a symbol, not of aviation, of national identity. So in 1976, they launched it anyway, not because the math improved, but because stopping felt like admitting we were wrong. Every year after, the question returned, should we cancel Concorde? And every year, the same answer. We've already invested too much to stop now. The psychological traps trap. Number 1, the sunk cost delusion. Here's what happens in the human mind. You've invested something precious, time, money, reputation. Your brain creates a mental ledger, and it tells you, if you stop now, you lose £2 billion. But that's not true. The £2 billion is already gone. Whether you continue or stop, it's not coming back. But your brain doesn't see it that way. It creates a false choice. Option A, continue to, maybe I'll recover the £2 billion. Option B, stop to, I definitely lose the £2 billion. Option A feels safer, even though it's not, because continuing means you might lose £3 billion, or £4 billion, or more. But stopping means facing the loss right now. And the human brain is wired to avoid immediate pain, even if it means greater pain later. So they continued, each year making it harder to stop, because now it wasn't £2 billion lost, it was £2.5 billion, then £2.8 billion. The trap tightening with every year. Trap number 2, identity protection, 330 to 420. But money wasn't the real trap. Pride was. Think about the officials who championed this project. They didn't just invest money, they invested identity. They stood before Parliament, before the press, before the world, and said, this is the future of aviation. This is British and French excellence. This will succeed. Now imagine being that person, years later. The data screaming, this is failing. You have 2 choices. Cancel at Aero. Admit publicly, I was wrong. I led us into disaster. Continue at Aero. Maybe somehow it turns around. And even if it doesn't, at least the disaster is spread over time. Diluted. Less personal. Which would you choose? Most humans choose the second, not because they're stupid, but because public humiliation feels worse than private financial loss. So they flew it, protecting their legacy, destroying their budgets. Trap number 3, the hope addiction. The third trap is the cruelest. Hope. Every few years, something would happen. A celebrity would fly Concorde. A profitable route would emerge briefly. The press would celebrate it again. And the officials would think, see, maybe we were right. Maybe it just needs more time. But these were anomalies, noise in the data. The trend never changed. Every year, net loss. Every year, the same conclusion. But hope is addictive. It's like buying lottery tickets. You lose 99 times, then you win $20 on the 100th try. And your brain whispers, see, the system works. Keep playing. They kept playing for 27 years, until a crash in 2000 made it impossible to continue. The parable, deeper pattern. There's an old parable that captures this pattern perfectly. A master potter was commissioned to create a vase. The payment was generous. The clay was expensive. The expectations were high. For 40 days he worked, every detail perfect, every curve deliberate. On day 39, just as he was finishing, a hairline crack appeared near the base, barely visible, but structural. He had 2 options. Option 1, start over, new clay, 5 days of work, perfect vase. Option 2, continue, hide the crack with glaze, hope it holds. The potter looked at those 39 days, all that work, all that time. He couldn't let it go. So he spent 20 more days, carefully applying layers of glaze, trying to make the crack invisible, hoping the patron wouldn't notice. On day 60, he delivered the vase. The patron inspected it, ran his fingers along the base, found the crack, dropped it. It shattered. The potter lost everything. The 39 days of original work, the 20 days of hiding, the expensive clay, the payment, his reputation. If he'd started fresh on day 39, he would have lost only 39 days, but delivered a perfect vase on day 44, kept his payment, kept his reputation. Total failure after 60 days, or success after 44 days. The difference, 16 days, and the courage to let go of 39. Your life, the human application. You might think, I would never make a billion-pound mistake like Concorde, but you're making the same choice right now, in smaller ways, every day. Your investments. You bought a stock at $100. It's now $60. Every analysis says this company is fundamentally broken. But you hold on, not because you believe it will recover, but because selling means admitting, I lost $40. So you hold and watch it drop to $40, then $20, then $0. You weren't protecting your money. You were protecting your ego, and it cost you everything, or the job. You've been there 10 years. The growth stopped 5 years ago. You learned nothing new. You're paid less than market rate. You're exhausted. But you think, I've invested a decade here. I'm so close to full pension, I can't start over now. So 5 more years pass. Now you've invested 15 years. And the trap is even tighter, because starting over at 45 feels harder than it did at 40. The sunk cost grows. The courage shrinks. Your relationships, or the relationship, 5 years together. The last 3 haven't worked. You both know it. But you stay. We've already invested so much time. We've built a life together. We can't just throw it away. So 3 more years pass. Not building, just protecting the investment. And when it finally ends, you realize you didn't save the 5 years. You wasted 8. The pattern, the stock, the job, the relationship, same trap, different scale. You're not protecting what you have. You're protecting yourself from admitting what you've lost. and that protection costs you more than the original loss ever would have. Why we do this, the biology. This isn't stupidity. This is evolution. For thousands of years, loss meant death. Losing your food cache equals starvation. Losing your shelter equals exposure. Losing your tribe equals predators. So your brain evolved a simple rule: avoid loss at all costs. But in the modern world, this instinct betrays you, because sunk costs aren't real losses. They're already gone. The only loss that matters is future loss. Concorde didn't save the 2 billion pounds already spent. It just added 1 billion pounds more to the loss. Continuing the broken pottery didn't save 39 days. It wasted 20 more. Holding the failing stock doesn't recover your money. It just prevents you from deploying that capital somewhere better. Your brain asks, how do I avoid losing what I've invested? The right question is, what's the best choice from today forward? Here's how to make better decisions. Step 1. The fresh start test. Ask yourself, if I was starting today with no history, would I make this choice? Forget what you've already spent. If you wouldn't start this today, why are you continuing it? Step 2. Calculate opportunity cost. Ask, what else could I do with this time/money/energy? Every hour on the dying project is an hour stolen from something that might thrive. Every dollar in the losing stock is a dollar that could be compounding elsewhere. Step 3. Remove ego. Ask, if this were someone else's decision, what would I advise them? Suddenly, the answer becomes clear. Because you're no longer protecting your pride, you're solving a problem. The British and French governments spent 3 billion pounds to avoid admitting they wasted 2 billion pounds. The potter spent 60 days to avoid accepting he wasted 39. Your brain will do the same, not because you're weak, not because you're foolish, but because you're human. The wisdom is not in never making mistakes. The wisdom is in letting go before the mistake consumes you. Sunk costs are not investments. They're lessons. Learn them, release them, move forward.